So we have some 250 events in China this week, and I wrote an article about predictions for 4 of the 8 matches for ATP Chengdu. I'm just going to jump into it. The value in these videos, and I just wanted to say this off the bat, I track cover information, cover tendencies, cover trends for all these players that you can't really find anywhere else. So I think that's some of the most valuable stuff. I give you their totals for the year. I give you kind of what they've been doing as of lately, alongside all of the other information that you would need to make the best possible bet. So I'm going to jump into this first match. Misolic, who was great this spring, he kind of burst on the scene this spring. He won some matches at the French Open. He won some challengers, playing really well. And then Perricard, who has been kind of hit and miss as of late, but as you'd expect, Perricard's the favorite. So Perricard, his last event was the US Open. He lost to Musetti in 4 sets. Pretty good showing to win a set against Musetti, who ended up making the quarterfinal. And then Perricard actually got back on the right track at Winston-Salem, winning 3 matches and then losing to Van de Zandschulp. So Misolic, he didn't play the US Open. His last event was Winston-Salem, and he lost his first match to Kovacevic in straight sets. So both these guys against the spread lately have been pretty poor. Perricard, 2 of his last 7. Misolic was great against the spread when he was kind of, exceeding expectations earlier in the year, but 2 of his last 10 ATP main draw matches. These don't count challengers. They don't count qualifying. It's ATP main draw cover tendencies. So 2 of his last 10, not great. It's probably part of the reason you see him as this plus 170 underdog, also just not playing as well, not many matches. Perricard's minus 2.5 games. Over-under is 23.5. Shevchenko, Monfils. So Monfils has lost his last 4 matches. Played the US Open. He lost in 5 sets to Safulin. Monfils is still the favorite, though, and I'll tell you why I think that in a second. He's minus 200. He's minus 3 games. The over-under is 22.5. Shevchenko, he played Davis Cup, qualies, beat, number 3 of 74. That doesn't really tell you much. Before that, he lost in straight sets to Davidovich at the US Open, also some losses. Before that, I think he picked up a win somewhere in there. Shevchenko's been awful against the spread, 10 and 23 this year, and only 2 of his last 11. Monfils was good at the start of the year, but still now, I think he's kind of hitting the wall finally. He's not really winning many matches at all right now. He's only covered 4 of his last 12. So both players don't have much form. Monfils has lost his last 4. Shevchenko, obviously just a lower level pro player, and he's not playing well at all. He's not on a good run. I just think the books think this is the perfect spot for Monfils. You don't see Monfils lose this many matches. He's had a long career. He knows how to pick up wins at some point, and I think they think this is a spot for him to pick up a win finally and break out of a slump. And honestly, I agree with it. You might see, wow, he's lost 4 in a row and he's minus 210, but I do see why for sure. Hey, Terrence Atmane and Dino Prizmic. So Atmane hasn't played since the incredible run at Cincinnati where he beat Kabali, Fonseca, Runa, and Fritz. And then he pushed Sinner a little bit even too. So he hasn't played any challenger. He hasn't played at all since then, which makes it all the more surprising that he's actually an underdog. Prizmic, he got through qualifying at the US Open, then lost to Rublev round 1 straight sets. And then he lost to Mute in 3 sets in Davis Cup qualifying. Pretty good effort, though, to get a set off of Mute. So I think Prizmic, he's playing from that form, winning matches in qualies, pushing Mute. I think he's playing a little bit above his ranking. But at the same, and so I get why, they're giving him some respect here, making him favorite. But Atmane, man, his last tournament, it was incredible. But it is normal for these guys after a huge result to immediately dip or lose that next match or go into a little bit of a slump. You see it with Menchik winning that Masters 1000. And you see it week to week just all the time. I think Fucsovics won the week before. He won Winston-Salem, I believe, and then he lost round 1 at the US Open. But what makes this a little bit different to me, when you see those fall-offs, it's normally, they play a final that Sunday, and then they're playing their round 1 the next Tuesday or Wednesday, 2 or 3 days later. It's been a month since Cincinnati. He's had all the time in the world to, settle into this new reality that, he's made it. He's not scrapping around, just barely getting by. He's made it, got a huge paycheck. He's surely he's top 50. I don't know that for sure, but you get a lot of points for a result like that. So I think he's had to settle down and maybe even keep improving. I don't think this is your standard, like, big result and then drop off. I think it could be a little different, but we're just going to have to kind of see what happens on it. Because Prizmic, he is playing pretty good tennis. Sonego and J Cerundolo. So Sonego's minus 210, Cerundolo's plus 170. I'm surprised he's that big of an underdog because he just won a challenger event. He won all 5 of his matches, including pretty solid wins to Bilo, Billy Harris, Dan Evans. Those are pretty decent wins, and this was on a hard court. But yeah, he's plus 175. Sonego's minus 3. Over under is 22.5. So Sonego's last event, it was the U.S. Open. He lost first round to Schoolkate in 5 sets. And then before that at Winston-Salem, he beat a really low-ranked player in 3. He lost a set to number 390 and then lost in 3 to Munar. So not great form for Sonego at all. The against the spread tendencies, Sonego's just around 50%. I mean, kind of what you'd expect from a player like that. But J Cerundolo, he's been good against the spread. He's had a good season. He's kind of rising in the rankings slowly. 6 of his last 8. Again, I think, to me, he's good against the spread. So maybe take him to cover. Maybe take him to win. I just think, and it's the same thing with Atmane. Like, they're betting on him to have a dip after the big result, which is very, very common. It's a real thing, and it's very common. But I just think him winning all these matches combined with being really solid against the spread, combined with Sonego really not having any form, I think it's worth it at the price. I do. At plus 170, plus 175, I think that's worth it. But these are the 4 matches I covered today. I'm going to be covering a lot of these matches. I covered some matches yesterday. It was pretty similar kind of process. We looked at recent form, looked at cover tendencies, gave you the betting odds, gave you what I thought it meant, and a lot of them really ended up playing out kind of how the article was written. So I'll just leave you guys with that. Hope you guys enjoyed this type of content. If you guys enjoy this type of stuff, I can do more matches. There's obviously more matches tonight than just these 4. So I can, in the future, if you guys like this type of stuff, I can definitely do more. But that's all I have for this predictions video, and I'll see you guys next time.